Welcome to the True Man Podcast. This is an invitation to radical reconstruction of a man's masculine heart and soul and a place of safe community where we dare to ask questions deep seated inside a man and explore ways to help you become a better man, a better son, a better dad, and a better spouse. Well, here we go. Let's get another True Man Podcast up and going here. So, thank you for being here with me. By the way, if you show up here and enjoy what I'm talking about, I hope you do. Don't keep it a secret. We don't want that, do we? Please grab your phone right now and just go to that app. Share the show with your favorite buddy right now so that they can explore the idea of becoming a true man, a better man, just like you. We don't want them to lag behind, right? We want you guys to grow together. And also, don't forget that True Man, True Ways, a roadmap of discovery to the masculine heart. My book is available. Just go out to my website, click on the book tab, and you can grab the book right there. Yeah, we did get things fixed. Oh, and by the way, you got to do a little digging, but we did get it out on Amazon. You know, there's always ways to get things done. The devil, and he never wins when you're on God's side. And I feel like that's what this book is. It's on God's side, right? Why is the book important, you may ask? Well, wouldn't you agree? From time to time, you need a positive voice or something positive to read. Use this book as a resource to work on the areas of life you feel like you need to work on. There's a number of different chapters in there. You don't have to take it chapter by chapter, but you can. If there's something you want to work on, grab a chapter. Just say you want to work on your body. You need some motivation for that temple. Grab that chapter, take a look at it, read it, and digest and discern what's going on there. And you can piecemeal it if you want. Can you imagine having the life of your dreams? Well, just follow the simple ways that I've included in the book, and you can begin to make that happen. Now, here's a little secret for you. I'm still walking this out as well. I'm working on everything every day that I put into that book. Okay. So, you know, just think about that. We're all a work in progress. Hence today's podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about a little word that I caught myself using recently. And was pointed out to me last week. I think many of us use words that we may not realize that we're using. And they very well could be sabotaging your vision, your goals, and your belief in what God has called you to do. It's amazing the power that our thoughts and our words that we use have over us. Now, the word that I was using that came out during a conversation is the word if. That's right. IF. Tiny little word, but boy, does it pack a punch. Now, I could throw a number of other words out there, I believe, but let's focus on if for the time being. A couple of letters seems perfectly harmless, right? But I'm telling you, it can and will poison your mind if you allow it to get it in the way. Again, in the way. The words you choose, your thoughts, well, they become silent killers of your dream. Don't believe me? I mean, think about the last time you said, man, it hurts. It begins to hurt a little bit more. Or how about something like, I hear people say this a lot. Well, that's hard. Well, if it's hard, it's hard. If you're busy, you're busy. That doesn't mean you're productive. And all of these words that we use, these thoughts that come onto our heads, they can be quiet assassins of our confidence, of our way of life. And worst of all, they're really kind of sneaky. Half the time, we don't know that we're using the word. I didn't realize I was using the word if in a conversation that I was having. You just don't realize how often it's coming out of your mouth sometimes until you stop to really listen. And this is where discernment and discipline really come into play. So I'm catching myself using words that I don't need to use. So I'm having this conversation the other day with a trusted friend and mentor. And we're talking about some business goals, the direction that I'm taking in business. So, in the middle of explaining, let's say my vision, and I'm going to paraphrase here. These weren't the exact words, but I think you get the idea that if this thing works out, then we'll be in a good position to really grow. A few minutes later, I did it again, and I said something along the lines of, if we can get more people to see the value, this could really take off. And this person stopped me right there and said, Mike, do you realize how often you're using the word if when you talk about the future? You're leaving the door wide open for doubt. If this happens, if that works, and you sound a little like you're preparing to lose. Or maybe you don't have the full vision, belief, and vision in what we're doing here. Now, admittedly, that hit me like a ton of bricks, right? I'm a guy who talks about vision, belief, and action all the time. I coach men to be decisive, to step up, to lead. And here I was letting the word if creep into my language, slowly eroding, I believe, my confidence in what I'm setting out to do. And it made me wonder, has this always been there, or is this some kind of defense mechanism? Am I guarding myself from some kind of disappointment, or worse? Am I sabotaging my own ability to be successful? So that conversation forced me to confront a real ugly truth here. I was giving if too much power, and it was holding me back. Now, let's be real. Using if sounds responsible, logical, even cautious. But that's really the exact problem, isn't it? When you say, if this happens, then I'll take action, you're putting your destiny in someone else's hands. You're giving away your power. You're standing on the sidelines, really waiting for permission to succeed. Now, interestingly enough, MetLife, the insurance company, likes to use this slogan. It's for the if in life. Now, that may be great for an insurance company, but man, it's terrible for life. You don't need to insure your dreams against failure by wrapping them in if statements. You need to take hold of them with certainty and declare, when this happens, or better yet, I will make this happen, right? Much more powerful position statement, much more powerful way to think. And it's really, this is how successful people think. Now, the dictionary defines if as an assumption, a starting point for reasoning. And that's fine, as long as your assumptions are rooted in truth. But you know what they say about assumptions, right? But what happens when you assume failure before you even begin? What happens when you create silent contracts with yourself that say, I'll only feel successful if this external thing happens? Well, you become stuck, paralyzed, reactive instead of proactive. And worse, you start to believe that the lie is your future. And that creates uncertainty. But here's the truth, guys. It's time you started. Here's the future. God has already spoken certainty over your life. Very, very important thing to understand. God has spoken certainty over your life. And it's really time you started speaking it too. Don't you agree? So let's take a look at what Scripture has to say about this, shall we? One of the clearest examples is found in Mark chapter 9, verse 23. If you can, said Jesus. Everything is possible for the one who believes, isn't it? I love that response. Jesus doesn't coddle the man's doubt, he challenges him. If you can, that's what you're bringing me. And Jesus immediately shifts the conversation from if to possibility. Everything is possible for one who believes. He doesn't say everything is guaranteed. He says it's possible, but only when you believe. Oh, so we're back to that vision and belief again that was brought up, right? Now, that's not passivity. That is a wait and see belief. It's an active present tense belief that shapes your actions. Now, let's look at James chapter 1, verses 6 through 8. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Ouch. Double-minded and unstable. Golly, how does it make you feel to hear that? That's what happens when you say, if God blesses me, if I succeed, if this works out. You're tossed around by circumstances. You've got no anchor when you're using words like if. But God calls us to stand firm. In Proverbs 16:3, it says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. It doesn't say if you commit, maybe God will think about it. No, commit. Then God will establish. And this is the biblical model. Commit first, believe fully, and act boldly. What have I learned here? Stop waiting on if. Start living in I will. Isn't that what you want too? Here's a hard question for you. Are you visually seeing what you want and the direction you want to go? Or are you sabotaging yourself with words like if and making those kinds of statements? Here's what I found. Vision isn't passive. It's not some vague hope floating around in your head. It's clear. It's a vivid picture of the future that you're building. And when you say, if this works out, well, you're blurring that picture. You're saying, I'm not sure. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Have you ever done that one? That's not vision. That's really wishy-washy hoping. You wouldn't build a house by saying, well, if this foundation holds up, maybe we'll go ahead and build the walls. No, you pour the foundation, build it with confidence, and expect it to stand. Your life is really no different. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Notice it doesn't say, where there is no plan B. It says vision, a clear, unwavering image of where you're going. And when you replace if with when or I will, well, you start aligning your words with your vision. And you begin to speak life over your future. And that's how you create momentum. That's how you move forward. You know, words and thoughts, they shape your world. Now, that's a hard truth. And I've heard my mentor say countless times, and it is true. An absolute truth bomb coming at you. We win or lose by the words we choose. Now, Ronald Reagan said it too, and it resonates because it's a principle baked into the fabric of our life. Your words and your thoughts, for that matter, are not just noise. They are declarations. They shape your mindset, your beliefs, and ultimately your outcomes. And we see in Matthew chapter 12, verse 34, where it says, "For your words, you will be acquitted. And by your words, you will be condemned." Now, let's face it, that's pretty serious business. Every time you say, "if this works out," you're condemning your future to doubt and indecision. But when you say, "I will find a way," when this comes together, you're declaring confidence, faith, and forward momentum. You're aligning with God's promise of possibility at that point. Gosh, isn't that what you want? That's what I want for me. So here's another trap that we sometimes fall into, those hidden contracts that we make with ourselves. There are the silence agreements out there, right, that we make all the time with ourselves. If I get this promotion, then I'll feel successful. If my business hits this revenue number, then I believe I'm good enough. If people start recognizing me, then I know I'm on the right track. But here's the kicker: those if then contracts, those are lies. And they put your worth, your belief, and your progress in the hands of external circumstances. Now, guys, that's not leadership. That's actually slavery. And leadership says, I am valuable. I am capable. I am called, regardless of what happens around me. Jesus didn't say, "Well, if the people approve of you, then you're my disciple." No. He said a couple of the most powerful words I think exist in the Bible. "Follow me." Period. No conditions, no contracts, just commitment. So if you want to lead a life with purpose, you need to tear up those hidden contracts and replace "if" with "I will." Replace conditional self-worth with God-given identity. That's where true freedom begins. At least that's what I've experienced. So, yeah, there's a challenge there to eliminate "if" from your vocabulary or whatever word you say or use. Let's do this challenge here for you. And I'm going to walk this one out too. What if for the next 30 days you eliminated words like "if" from your vocabulary when you're talking about your future? How about, and this is what I'm going to do, replace "if this works out" with "when this succeeds." Replace "if I figure it out" with "I will find a way." Replace "if I get the opportunity" with "I will create the opportunity." So every time you catch yourself using "if," stop, reframe, and declare certainty. And watch how your mind shifts begin to take place. See what happens. Watch how your actions become bolder. Watch how the results begin to align with that vision that you have for yourself. Now, this isn't some kind of magic formula. Not at all. It's the biblical principle of belief in action. And remember what Jesus said. Everything, not some things, not little things, not big things. Jesus said everything is possible for the one who believes. But believes starts with your thoughts and your words. So let's wrap this up today. You and I, both of us, we have a choice. We can keep hedging our bets and speaking in the ifs in life and living in hesitation, right? Or we can step into God's calling with boldness, certainty, and conviction. Doesn't that sound like a better way to live? Because the words you speak over your life matter. They're seeds. And you can plant seeds of doubt with if, or you can plant seeds of destiny with I will. Now, God has already promised you a future and hope. He's already equipped you with gifts, talents, and opportunities, just like He has for me. But He's not going to force us to believe it. That's our job. So we need to stop giving the ifs in life power over our lives. And we need to speak with authority, act with vision, believe with certainty. And I'm going to declare this now. I will succeed. I will fulfill God's purpose for my life. I will lead, grow, and thrive, not by chance, but by choice. I hope that's a declaration that you will make as well. That's how you win. That's how you build a legacy. That's how you become the true man that God wants you to be. It starts today. No more ifs, only I will. Wow. It's really, really powerful stuff. And it's partly why I do this show, really. You know, I'm not some kind of perfect human being. I'm walking through this. I'm working on bettering my best all the time. Will I ever get there? I don't know. Doesn't mean I'm going to quit. I'm going to keep trying. Now, you may have another word outside of the word if. Just plug it in there, whatever it is. You know, just apply some of the guidance that I gave you today. And in addition to that, don't hesitate to reach out to me for a free initial call to see if you qualify to work with me, and stop eliminating the ifs in life. Replace them with wills. Such a more fabulous and exceptional way to live. So I don't want to say I hope you got something out of this podcast today. I'm going to assume that you did. What an exceptional topic, really. And I'm so grateful for some of the people that I have in my life that when I'm using something that sounds, you know, innocent, like if, that we're able to work together and reframe it and adjust and create I wills. Because I wills are so much more powerful. So I hope you feel encouraged by the show. If you need to talk with me, if you'd like to see if you can qualify to work with me, just reach out to me at mike@truemanlifecoaching.com. I love to hear from you. And of course, as always, go out and leave us a great review on your favorite podcast channel. Always love getting those exceptional reviews. So thank you for listening to the True Man Podcast. So appreciate each and every one of you listening. If you have a topic you'd like to hear me talk about, or maybe even if you'd like to come on the show and join me, heck, why not? I'm putting out the invitation right now. Now, until next week, God bless you, and go out and make this your very best day ever.